Hi, this is Julie from Femme Mécanique Designs. I'm a jeweler and a lapidarist based in Montreal, and I'm going to show you today my project of making an oval ring. First, I need to pick which stone I'm going to use. I decided to go with a Black Jack Turquoise. In order to make a cabochon, you need to slice it up. I have not been using the trim saw for a while. That's why I need to add more water. It is very similar to a tile saw. Water needs to flow when cutting. It is a lubricant. Some people prefer using oil. I find it too messy. But when I will have the budget for a larger saw to cut agates, I will then be using oil. This high-tech trim saw is really nice because it's not too small, not too big. It's the 6-inch model. The mask I'm using right now is the same that I use for jewelry making. It's the 3M full face mask. It covers the eyes and the lungs at the same time, so you don't forget one or the other. And I also put on there some organic vapor acid gas and particle filters. Finally, the reveal. Do you like it? Now, let's go to the cabbing machine. I thought, why not start a sticker collection? I got this beautiful Just Herc sticker last year at the Tucson show. And this year, I got my second sticker, which is from Miner's Gallery. If you want to know more about them, go and visit their website, or come with me and purchase stones on my first YouTube Tucson video, and you'll see the owners and what they have to offer. So when looking at the slice I just cut, I thought, I'm gonna go with just a horizontal line to keep it symmetrical. As you can see, the cabbing machine I'm using is Diamond Pacific Genie 2. I've been having it for a year and I really love it. The two wheels on the left are the grinding wheels. All the wheels are covered in diamond, and the two first ones are more coarse and they're hard. They are meant to remove most of the material. I'm sure that it's taking me at least double the time to make a cabochon than an experienced lapidarist, because my full-time job is being a jeweler. I've only been doing lapidary work for a year, and maybe I've sold like 12 to 15 pieces with the stones, but I want to integrate it to my practice and making it full-time. Cannelle, which means cinnamon in French. She wanted to play with Rosalie, the camera woman. The second grinding wheel is less coarse, so you can take more time to shape your stone, and it's gonna remove some of the harsh scratches from the first wheel. The unit came with 4 Nova resin bond diamond wheels. On the wheel it has like a piece of foam and the belt is over, so when you push it's gonna be easier to make the shape. And the wheel on the left is a 280. Then on the right you have 3 wheels, 600, 1200 and a 3000. Turquoise is a soft stone. It's not like a quartz. So what you can do is, in between different diamond grits, is using a little piece of sandpaper. I like to use like a 340, maybe a 600, and then 1000. Let me tell you a little bit about the Black Jack Turquoise. I purchased it at the Keynote show in Tucson this year. There was smaller, colorful pieces from Artisan out of Santa Fe, and bigger pieces with more matrix but still very cool looking from Lane Audison. The Black Jack Turquoise is mined out of Tonopah, Nevada, and is natural with always black matrix and colorful veins like yellow, green, blue, earthy tones. In July 2020 was the first time I was introduced to lapidary art. The class was called Lapidary Art Level 1 and 2. It was a 2-week class at the École de Joaillerie de Montréal. I am a self-taught jeweler, but I had a little workshop for lapidary. For the rest, I learned it on YouTube, just like jewelry. The teacher was Yves Saint-Pierre. He's renowned in Quebec. He taught us to cut stones on a similar cabbing machine, but he made his own machines. That's really interesting about him. He's so crafty. He had a lot of tips, and he's the one that taught us the tip of rounding the stone on sandpaper. For softer stones like turquoise and vericite, you can use the same polishing machine as you would use for metals. This will give an extra shine to the stone because I don't want to use the wheels past the 3000. I'm just gonna gently go over the stone, and I'm super happy because this matrix is not too hard and it won't undercut the turquoise. Everything was really nice and smooth. So you can either use chromium or aluminum oxide as a compound. The ultrasonic cleaner isn't meant for turquoise, but I only do it just for not even a second. De ça à ça. Ça, c'est la Black Jack Turquoise. Et je vais vous faire une belle petite bague. Je vais aller comme ça. So this is the result, and now we are gonna go upstairs to create the bezel. Come with me. So here's a sneak peek of the store. And I don't know why, but the customers were color coordinated with me. Green and black on Valentine's Day. A bit of fuel. And sorry about the mess, but for the next videos, it may get cleaner and cleaner. Here is my bin for everything that is miscellaneous and also for strips and sheets of silver. Now I'm going to make the bezel. You need to pick a strip of fine silver that is high enough and thick enough. So the one I'm going to choose is a 22 gauge, 5mm high. You go around and you keep just a little bit of room in case when you solder things shrink. You then cut the strip and you rock it on a semi-hard surface so the strip will be perfectly even all around the stone. Here at the bench, I'm gonna switch my tools to have my bench pin, so I'm gonna be comfortable to file anything I want. Now let's file away. It is a lot of back and forth just to make sure that the strip is face to face. I also like using the sanding disc just to make sure everything is straight. Putting a few drops of flux. Since it's a fine silver, I like using medium solder. Now take a bath in the pickling salt. Five minutes later. Let's do a little reshaping just before soldering the strip on a silver sheet. Looking through the sheets, I have to find something that is not too thin, not too thick. I am using a 20 gauge, 0.8 millimeters. And this sheet is made of sterling silver. It's not fine silver because I want it to be a bit harder. You need to remember what is the bottom part of your strip, and then you file it because you want to make sure that when you solder it on your sheet, there's not going to be any gaps. This tool will help raise the sheet and bring more heat to the piece. When you put more heat on your piece quicker, it will help because it won't create oxidation and it will help the soldering flow really well. I'm putting more flux and then I'm gonna solder again with the same medium solder. I like to solder on a block that is on a lazy Susan because it can turn. It's really practical. You need to look at your piece to see if there are gaps. I don't see any, but let's put it in the pickling salt and look after when it's all nice and shiny. In the meantime, I'm wondering if I have strips that could be used for the ring shank. And while I was looking through this half-round bin, I found this piece that I've done a while ago. Canel is 10 years old. I think she's grown enough to be a jeweler. I'm looking at my piece again and no, I don't see any holes. So let's go and trim the bezel and then I'm gonna file it. I'm putting my visor. I look silly, but I don't want anything that shoots in my eyes. Finally done. Now let's file away. I like to burnish the solder joint. Then I do some sanding. Now I sand with something that has also steel wool, so it helps going around every little details. I do some holes because if my stone gets stuck before I finish, I can pop it out. I'm going to put the stone in just to make sure it fits, and yes, so I'm gonna see you tomorrow for the next video.